Hello and welcome to Open-Minded Skeptic. This is an episode numbered, a certain number, which comes in sequence to the other numbers that we've done before the show.
3 maybe? 4? Something like that. It's not that many.
We should be up, I think, to 6.
Maybe it's 6. Well, let's cover all our bases. This is show number 4, number 5, number 6,
Yeah,
number 7.
just in case. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 5, 3, 0, and 9. And we want to welcome you. We're going to discuss 4 topics tonight.
Yep, quickly, briefly, 4 topics.
Right here in the beautiful lands of the Colorado mountains.
Okay, sounds good.
There's been sightings out here
Yes.
of everything from UFOs to Loch Ness Monster.
That's right.
To Father Malachi and also Bigfoot.
Yeah, and it's ironic that in the last 2 years since they've legalized marijuana, sightings of all sorts of things have gone sky high here in Colorado.
That's very true. And we're here to discuss all 4 of those objects as we kick off for you another Open-Minded Skeptic.
Welcome to the Open-Minded Skeptic.
May you remain open-minded as you seek the answers to life's mysteries.
Welcome to the Open-Minded Skeptic.
Welcome to the Open-Minded Skeptic with your hosts, Phil and Sir.
Welcome to the Open-Minded Skeptic.
May you remain open-minded as you seek the answers to life's mysteries. All right, what's going on?
Not much.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling a million times better than I think the last time we recorded I had a flu.
Yes, yeah, you were under the weather. And I'm feeling better.
And you're feeling better, but I do got to pull the curtain back and let everybody know that we had done this show before, and I had the mic this way. And you can't really record a show when your voice sounds like this.
It literally sounded like you were in a closet when we played the audio back.
And I should play it. I have it.
Yeah, just...
It's like this. Yeah. This is what happens when you don't wear headphones during recording, folks.
Yeah, first time, and I was like, oh, well, he's going...
We don't need headphones, I said.
We don't need protection for this one. We're going bareback.
That's right.
Bare-eared.
And every time you go bareback, something happens.
Bad things happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago, because I got sick right after that, and that's why this is a delay.
Yeah.
But we're... going to recover these issues and try to do this on a fairly regular basis again.
Sure.
All right.
And the cool thing is we're doing 4 shows in one. Why don't we start off with this UFO crap?
Yes.
Which I call crap, but I don't want to call it all shenanigans, but at the same time, let me hear your thoughts and what you think.
Okay. Here's the article. The article is some released photographs from a U.S. submarine from the 1970s, and it shows through the periscope a bunch of still photographs of a very flat, large object, and some of the pictures are kind of triangular shape, but it's literally right on the horizon of the ocean.
Right.
And in a couple of pictures, it either is diving in the water or it has been shot at, and streams of smoke or water, I don't know which, are coming off of it. So here's the thing. They claim, this is the U.S. government in the article, that they were just videotaping this or they were filming it.
Right.
And it's a UFO. It's
right.
not a target. It's not a device they use for shooting practice. But
it's not the Avengers stronghold.
No, nothing
that's
like
what
that.
It looks like.
It does kind of look that way.
Especially in that picture right there in the corner.
But some skeptics say, yeah, they've used floating targets right on the edge of the water or right on the horizon, and they've used them for targeting practice. But according to this, that's not what it was. This is, that's the official government stance. It was just something they saw and took pictures of, which leads to a lot of people in the UFO community saying, there's your proof. There's your proof that there's an actual UFO.
And you mean big UFO?
Big UFO.
The UFO community.
Well, yeah, the UFO. How about the UFO believer community? How about that?
No, that's just cute. Do they have a parade and they're like, hey, UFO, we won't go? No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well,
that was cute.
You know what? There's communities of everything nowadays. You got the gay community, you got the anti-gay community, you got the UFO community, you got the anti-UFO community.
Craft beer community.
Sure.
Yeah.
So So believers in UFOs and government conspiracy of covering it up say it's legit. The photos are legit. It's, definitely pictures off of a submarine from the periscope.
Yeah.
What the target picture is, hard to say. Yes, it's floating above the water in the horizon. It's moving around.
Yeah.
But then a couple of them, it looks like it's either diving into the ocean or just coming out of the ocean or being shot at. There's just not enough information for me to say, yes, 100% that is a UFO. But a couple of them are kind of intriguing. They're, the triangular shape of the craft.
The lighting.
It's very metallic. So, I don't know what to say. I just know that, it's a photograph. It's a government photograph, meaning it came from a government vehicle or government sources.
You're leaning more towards possibly.
No, I'm not. I'm not leaning one way or the other. I'm kind of confused. I'm going to be in the camp of I'm undecided.
Okay, I am skeptical, and the reason being is I've seen whether these pictures are from the time they say. First of all, the site it comes from is got a picture of a spaceship coming out of the mist in the sky, and that's the very top, and it's called the Arctic UFO Photographs, USS Trepang.
Yep.
Sounds like something Jerry Lewis would do. We're driving the Trepang. Flagging, dinging, linking. And then the SSN 674, March 1971. This is the Black Vault website, where there's a nice little donut button. Donut. Good Lord. I can read.
Donate donuts.
Yeah. There's a... What is your ass problem, Jerry?
I stepped on his tail by accident. That's for the time he scratched me.
Go make love to something inanimate. And it looks like something out of the what's that movie, Independence Day?
Independence Day. It does look like the mothership coming through the clouds, or it actually kind of reminds me also of the Hindenburg going up.
That
that has that kind of a look. But again,
you never know.
Is it smoke from being shot at and being shot down? Is it smoke that the thing created and it's breaking through it?
Or is it a picture from the last Star Wars, where it's coming up from the dune and they just mushed out all the the Millennium Falcon bits and pieces? And
right. Yeah, that kind of a thing. And that's the problem now with a lot of photographs on the internet is just so much. You've got people who are really trying to force the UFO or the pro-UFO belief that they're going to make fake stuff just to say, look, it's real. And then you've got people who are trying to distort it. So they take something like this, which, again, it may just be a floating target for them to hit. Right. And it's nothing more than like a Mylar balloon. That's what's given the metallic. I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah, Mylar definitely will put off something like that.
The fact that the thing that gets me as being real is the fact that they're photographs coming from a periscope. So it's, the periscope photographs, it's definitely real. Whatever's out there is real. What it is, I don't know. I don't know if it's a target. I've never heard of that. But then again, you don't hear a lot of shit that the government does or the military does.
Yeah, that's true.
And I've never heard that. I mean, I worked for the Navy, but then again, I wasn't privy to, what operations and training that they do with submarines and big guns on ships. I was small arms, so I knew what we did for, the individual manpower end of it.
Just had trouble reaching a lot of things.
Small arms, T-Rex. Oh. Give him a couple of grabbers. He's unstoppable.
Do you know why T-Rex died out?
Why?
They couldn't hug.
Oh, that's sad.
It is sad.
It's a sad joke.
So, I don't know if there would be such a thing, and it's true. It's hard to say that we are the only ones in the universe, especially with the new discovery of all those planets that are Earth-like.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't know. Why is it always when like 3 or 4 people are looking, and then they see everything, and then when nobody's looking, nothing, or when everybody's looking, nothing happens?
Or it happens in this massive populated area, but only 3 or 4 people see it. How does that happen?
I can catch Jenny Jingle Jeans walking by and then going to her restroom from like a mile away with my cell phone, but I can't seem to capture an alien ship.
Yeah. Well, they say it's because we're not looking up as much. We're all looking down on our phones, which are pointing to the ground as we're typing away with our thumbs. But then you have people that just do nothing but day by day just stare at the sky and, look for something. And there's a lot of people who misidentify. Again, if this is a target balloon and it's supposed to be vast and big, first of all, why is the Navy shooting it down? I could see the Air Force using balloons to shoot stuff down.
Because that's what we do as Americans.
I don't understand why.
What is that? Kill it!
Exactly. That's all right, because we get the bare arm. As big as they can be. Even if we're on the deck of a boat, we're going to be able to have
we
them.
could arm bears.
Arm bears. Not the big fur But I don't understand why a submarine would need a floating aerial target to shoot down. That to me is a little odd. And again, like I said, I'm not privy to what the Navy operations are.
Right.
It does have classic UFO shaping. Like I said, that triangular shape. It's kind of levitating there. So I don't know. I'm torn. I want to say, there's parts that look real, and then there's parts that the story just doesn't jive with me. So I'm just going to leave it at I'm undecided on this one. There's not enough information for me to say one way or the other.
And I'll call bullcrap, but at the same time, the possibility is endless.
Absolutely.
I cannot cut it out, and that's hard for me to say. I'll tell you that right now.
Speaking of cutting the bullcrap, we got to move on to the next subject. Move along and go to, instead of things in the sky, things on the ground, and we'll talk about Bigfoot.
Now, we're in an area now where we've seen some pretty big feet. Nothing of hair.
No.
But there's been some size 13 to 15s walking around.
Yeah, and I think those are just those happy hippies that are seeking some magic
mushrooms. Well, I got clown feet. And look at these toes.
Whoa. Goodness gracious.
Look at those toes. Do you know how many women have seen my toes?
And ran away?
No, I just have 13 feet. Not 13 feet, but 13 size.
Are you an octopus?
When I run, it sounds like,
you're one of them there space aliens. Let me get my shotgun.
Son, come here. I want to tell you something. Okay, Dad.
Like Stewie in that episode where it was the end of the world and he got nuclear poisoning and he turned into some kind of like crazy cephalopod monster.
With the slinky feet.
Just slithering away like an octopus. So you have size 13s.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you know what they say about guys with big feet?
Big shoes.
They're big shoes, that's right.
Big shoes.
Yeah.
Got big hands, too.
Do you really?
Yeah, I wear big gloves.
Big gloves. I'm disproportionate then. I've got average size feet and big hands.
That's weird.
I know. So, how does that work out?
So that just means you wear a large helmet, but no neck to put it on.
But that's for a different reason. I got a piece of tape with my name in the front of it.
Just in case you forget. Gotta breathe in. So you saw a video. Explain this video you saw that I'm going to be so against.
Okay. Now, do we have a link for that still? Or
yes, we do.
Okay.
There will be a link up on YouTube where you can find it.
Okay.
I'll find it.
Because I lost it, so
I'll find it.
Have it. Anyhow, if you need to, you could probably search it if we can't find the link. We had a link. The government made us erase it, probably.
Don't say that too loud.
I know. They tapped into us. They're trying to find out our secrets of what we know and trying to shut us down.
They're always listening.
So here's what happened. I found a quick video saying, is this possibly Bigfoot? And what it was a camera watching a nest of eaglets, little baby eagles. Mm-hmm. And in the background, just the way the camera was angled, it covered some of the forest floor. I'm going to say 200-300 yards away, maybe, from the nest to the forest floor below.
Right.
And all of a sudden in the video, because those cameras run 24 hours a day, they're always watching the eaglets. Supposedly, because of what happened in Washington, D.C., where the eaglets were being watched, and then some idiot figured out where the camera was, climbed up there and killed the eaglets. And, and that's just wrong. Just leave it alone. So supposedly the researchers found this nest, would not say where it was.
Smart.
Other than in the woods of a particular state. And I think it's in the link.
I think it's somewhere around here.
So it could be around here.
Like that one I found before I had those eggs for breakfast. Those were great.
Those were delicious.
They were delicious. A little crunchy, but...
But anyhow, in the video, all of a sudden you see this bipedal person / creature thing walking in the distance on the forest floor. And then he kind of climbs over a fallen tree and just kind of hustles through the forest doing his thing.
Yeah.
Now, I saw the video, and again, I'm in the undecided column. Before you even ask me, I'm telling you why I'm undecided.
Is it because he's bipedal and you're not sure how you feel about that?
No. I am torn. I'm trying to change. It's the modern way of thinking. But
it's just so hard to be old school because I used to just be pedal.
Just pedal. I know.
And now when you're bipedal, it's...
and then you're pedal, and then you're just anti-bipedal. What's wrong with you?
But I grew up with a pogo stick.
There you,
so I was pedal one time. Go on.
Well, anyhow, here's the thing. I saw it when he first is rambling through the forest. I don't know. It's just a gray, dark gray, almost black type of figure walking. It could be a guy in a gully suit, which is this like head to almost like a mesh suit that covers you from your head down to hide. But you can see the arms moving, but they're kind of big and bulky. It's not until he climbs over the log. The way he climbed over the log, in my opinion, was not the way a human being would have done it. So either this guy was sophisticated enough to say, I got to do it like an animal would, such as a monkey or a gorilla.
Knowing the camera was there.
Because I know we've already talked about
That's where I'm
this.
at.
That's where you're at, that this person walked by purposely. But when he climbed over the log, that was the cue to me that either this is really real or this guy's a more sophisticated fake.
Right.
And so that's why I'm undecided. So go ahead. You tell me the rest of your opinion.
I am of the thought. Well, I want to go back to what you said about the outfit, the head to foot army outfit thing to hide in the woods for hunting. Suit. I didn't even think about that until you just said it, and that's probably more of a possibility than not. That actually will back me up a bit more. Mm-hmm. And so will those eggs. They'll back me up a lot because eagle eggs are thick.
Well, they're going to back you up, all right.
They'll back me up, all right.
And you deserve it after eating them, just climbing that tree, stealing them from those eggs.
Yeah, but with cheese and a muffin. And then you know what I had to do for sausage?
What?
Kill the mom. Had to put her through the...
So you had eagle sausage on top of eagle eggs?
And eagle eggs.
Wow. Did you call it the freedom sandwich?
That's what it is. Yum. Yum.
We're not condoning killing
not at all, but I can see the commercial. With an echo.
They're eagle killers. They're horrible people.
Come on down. Serve an eagle. Really quick, I want to tell a story in between. There was Westover Market in Arlington, Virginia that got closed for serving lion meat when Redskins were playing against the Lions.
Really?
Yes. He actually ordered meat from Africa. They arrested him, and that was the last time we ever saw that gentleman.
No kidding.
And I knew that guy my whole life.
Wow.
And, they arrested him and took him away because he was selling lion meat at the market. That was 1980-something.
Really?
When Redskins were really kicking. And,
see, and that, to me, if it's an animal that can be eaten, I don't, the problem is you got too many people in the United States. And again, side story here. People are so removed from death and they're so removed from the farm that I literally read a tweet. I'm not lying. The person said, meat is murder. I don't know why people have to kill animals to eat them. Why don't you just go to the market and get meat like everybody else? Or where they make it. They don't make it there. They have to slaughter that animal and bring the meat to the market. Yeah. You're just missing the part of where the animal gets killed, skinned, and chopped up.
You see the nice little package, and
they just sell you the nice little package.
Some animals are born with the yellow foam underneath them,
exactly
with cellophane on it.
That's the way they're born.
And then they get stamped reduced.
That's right. Well, they think literally that it's just like a machine that like pumps it all out, and they're like, "There's my chicken patties." No, that's not where it came from.
Your chicken patties came from leftovers.
I just
Rondelays are just chopped up like turkey parts
That's
left
it.
over, right?
Exactly. That's all it is.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I'm surprised that the guy got shut down. It's just that our FDA is so out of control here that
Well, I think it was in the 80s. I think there was a point when were lions
might have
extinct?
been. No, they were never extinct. They might be in. And that's the other thing with some of these endangered species. I'm a true believer in survival of the fittest. And unfortunately, you know what? If there's one spider in my house, he's not fit to survive because I'm going to squash him.
But it's an Antarctic angel spider.
You know what?
There's only 3 of those left.
I'm not dumb enough to call anybody and say, you want to investigate to see if this is a special spider? It's getting squashed. And I'm not telling anybody about it. So.
Except for you, so investigate. I thought I saw the same video.
Yeah.
Of Bigfoot
Right.
Stumbling over a log. I would think if there was a Bigfoot, he ain't stumbling over nothing.
Well, I didn't think he stumbled as much as just. I thought the way he moved, he kind of like hopped over it much more.
I think he moved like Jagger. Sorry.
Move like Jagger. No, he had more of an animalistic movement there. I'm not saying that when I saw him walking, I could say, yeah. And that's the problem with Bigfoot is that if he's a humanoid creature, he's going to have human features or human identifying traits like the way he walks. But jumping over the log, I thought he was much more athletic about it than just a typical person, especially when you're wearing a big, heavy suit trying to pretend to be a big, oversized creature. You're not going to be that agile, you know?
We'll tell that to what's his name who played Chewbacca.
The guy barely moved. He could barely walk in the suit.
Right,
the guy's like 8 feet
example.
tall and, had back problems. And
He's 90, for God's sake.
92.
No, I'm of the mind that it's a suit, and it seemed a little too much. It seemed a little too. What's the word? Obvious that he was in front of the camera.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Yeah,
it just seemed a little too coincidental, and he comes hop skipping along, arm swinging, hey, whoop, right over the thing, hey, like he was going to pow. And then start wandering.
I hear you.
That was me, but that was a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. No, it was a cool video, and again, and then that means the only 2 people that know that it was there were anybody working for that research group
and the Eagles.
And I don't think the Eagles are big enough to pull off a person in a gully suit, jumping.
Not
logs.
ever since they broke up. Not without Glenn Fry. Since Glenn Fry's gone, it's been terrible.
Okay, so that's 2 for me that I'm saying not enough information. I think there's a possibility, and we've talked about this, and again, ladies and gentlemen, we'll probably cover it again when there's other future sightings. And,
I would love to be wrong.
And that's me too. I want to truly say, hey, listen, I was on the side of wanting to be right. I just don't know. These grainy pictures kind of throw me off. I'm like, come on, you got to give us something better than that. Even these guys come out, I heard howling. Oh, yeah, okay, it's a weird scream, which I've never heard coyotes and I grew up in a hunting family. We've been out in the woods. We've heard weird things. I've never heard this. I'm like, what the hell is that? But then again, how do you know it's not one of his buddies doing it from a cliffside? Because I wasn't there, and now you're giving me this video and telling me it's for real. I don't buy it.
Steven Tyler visits the Colorado mountains.
Some of those screams.
Could be practicing.
Yep.
You never know.
Yep.
Does it ever go, 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 go? Do you ever hear that?
No.
In the middle of the...
No, you know what? I've only heard 2 tapes. One was like literally a scream like I just made, and the other one was like this long howl. It was like, ooh. I'm not doing it justice.
I understand.
But it actually raised the hairs on my neck because I was like, ooh, that's a creepy noise. But I've never heard anything like that here, And again, I'm not Joe Outdoorsman.
No, that's fine. When I lived in Arlington, Virginia, there was not coyotes, but foxes that would scream at night, and it sounded like a human being, and they would do it really loud. I think just to check out the echo. And I would try walking towards it, and all of a sudden I see a fox walking across the street.
Yeah, yeah.
And the way the fox looks to look at
And
you.
they chirp, too. They make like this
Oh,
weird
yeah.
high-pitched chirping
And
noise.
freaky looking on their faces, like they know something about your family.
Yeah.
It's freaky to look at a fox face. Very freaky.
But so that's two for me that I'm not enough information. I'm not going to give an answer one way or the other. And you're skeptical on both so far.
Yep. And
Okay.
that ending covers that 2 minutes, too.
Great.
I'll put that in there.
So our third topic is going to be Father Malachi Martin.
Father Malachi Martin.
Very wonderful.
We like to call him the M&M.
the M&M.
The holy M&M.
The holy M&M. There you go. Instead of just the M&M of rap. And
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think of rap. I was thinking of the chocolate because I'm fat. That's all I thought about. I didn't even think about the rap
the
guy.
divine M&M. All right, Father Malachi, real quick. If any of you don't know who he is, two quick little tidbits. He's a gentleman that I met that I attribute to changing my life, putting me back on the straight
Saving
and
your
narrow.
life, yeah.
Yeah, and he was well known as a probably the most famous demonologist, or excuse me, exorcist priest.
Right.
And of course, you got so many people out there saying, well, he gave up being a priest, so he's not legit, and this and that. And it doesn't matter. When I met the man, we just had general conversations. And believe it or not, our conversations led around our fourth topic, and it was more about reincarnation. Never even mentioned that he was a demonologist or a exorcist priest.
Right.
That blew my mind, because a couple of years later, I heard a radio show, and they mentioned his name. I'm like, that's the guy I met. So there you go. He's a exorcist priest,
Right.
and Netflix has just put up a show about him called Hostage to the Devil, and it's a documentary about Father Malachi, the people that were around him leading up to his last and final exorcism, and they all believe that it caused his death.
Yeah.
Now, there's a couple of people in the show totally blew my mind. One is also a former Jesuit priest who got married and accuses him of being a complete fraudster. And
Fraudster.
a fraudster. He's a fraud. I tell you, a fraud. And allegedly sleeping or flirting, at least, with that man's wife.
Oy.
And
That's not nice.
Father Malachi claims to the day he died that, or at least as far as I know, that the one thing he continued of his three vows of chastity, poverty, and obedience.
Yeah.
He was obedient to the Pope, even though he gave up his vow of poverty in order to support himself in being an author and a writer, as well as pursuing this exorcism
Right.
avenue. But he also stayed faithful to chastity. He said that he never pursued indulgence of the flesh.
Beautiful.
That's what he said in interviews. We never talked about it. Again, I only met the man 3 or 4 times for a few hours at a time. And the most was more just talking about life in general, what I'm doing, and what my thoughts were of death, of the afterlife. And that led into conversations about reincarnation and the discussions of multiple, uses of the soul and whatnot. So again, like I said, I didn't know anything about this other person or this other life that he led.
And that's pretty freaky to see him
Yeah.
doing what he did.
Doing what he did. And again, I get a documentary. Here's my problem with the documentary. It was very dry. And the people involved, the people that were on his side and said that this last exorcism led to his death, I totally believe them. They were there. I wasn't. I got the genuine feeling that this was a very likable, honest person when I met Father Malachi, and these people felt the exact same way. Now, the gentleman who claims that he was a fraud and slept with his wife or flirted with his wife, one of the two.
Well, yeah, so he's covering his tracks.
They always got to throw in these documentaries somebody who is against or biased to the individual or to the subject matter.
No pun intended, devil's advocate.
So I got up to, supposedly this exorcism happened in Connecticut, and ironically, watching the movie.
Hey, we live there.
We do. Oh my
Not here
God.
in Colorado in the mountains waiting for this guy wearing a suit
The
about
ghillie suit.
being not a bipedal dude.
You better not have one of them flags either. I'm tired of the flags.
I know, the bipedals.
The
flag,
bipedals
where they have like one
flag.
pedal from a bicycle and he hits you with it.
Showing off his feet all the time.
I
I don't
know.
need to see that.
Gross.
But so instead of the equal sign for equality, it's just 2 feet.
Two toes.
2 toes. Bipedalism.
Hangnail.
So the thing that I was watching one of the guys who was driving from New Jersey to Connecticut, and he said he was his unofficial driver.
Yeah.
You watched it, right?
I only, as you can see right there, I saw 63 minutes of the 96 minutes.
Yeah, and that's probably where I tapped out too, just because unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it was so dry.
Yeah.
It was actually excruciating to watch. As
There was
much as I wanted to hear more.
Music and more video instead of talking.
Yeah,
They got into the little, and you see a picture of him just sitting there. My life is what you're watching, but he doesn't say anything.
I know.
And it's like, okay, this is artsy fartsy more than documentary.
Right. It was kind of like those 1980s British documentaries.
Yeah, exactly.
This is episode 17 of 933 of my days in the Sahara Desert, and today
Here's a grain of sand 1.
Oh, yeah. Oh, stop. How did you even get funded for this? But yeah, that's what I felt like I was watching. I was just like, oh, you're just dragging this out. But
Yeah.
getting back to the guy who was the driver,
Yes.
once he got up to Connecticut,
We're from there. Go ahead.
we're from there.
That's why that lost.
Said, and he started showing. I'm like, all right, now I'm intrigued. I want to see more of what's going on, and I'm literally watching where he's driving, and these are places that I deliver on my route.
Oh,
so
awesome.
I recognize the route, and I believe I found the actual house where this last exorcism was held.
Dude, we got to do a show from there.
Got to do a show from there.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I don't think that's where the people live. I think the people came there who had the possessed daughter.
Yeah.
And he did the exorcism at that house. But they were talking about how this little girl. And unfortunately, I think it would have been more of an interesting story to talk about the little girl and maybe more about her exorcism and whether or not she. And again, like I said, I tapped out, so I don't know how it finished.
Right.
But folks, go to Netflix.
Yeah, if
pull
you have
up.
Netflix, check it out. I'm sure maybe you can
It's
even
called
find this.
Hostage to the Devil.
You might be able to find this on YouTube by now.
Maybe, yeah,
Somebody
parts of it.
probably put it there.
Or
and
you can find more information about him or other people who are haters or disbelievers of him. And
Father Malachi Martin.
Yep.
He was a good guy. He helped you out.
Yep.
He did
Yep.
a lot of work for a lot of people for free. So I'm of the mind where, I believe that if you stick around and sloth yourself to death, any of the 7 deadly sins, you're in for one heck of a possessional problem.
So you think that maybe he was more open? What the show ended up. Let's wrap this up with the show's basic bottom line was that this last exorcism, because he'd made himself more vulnerable for years and years of doing exorcisms, that eventually he became the target. They believe that the little girl was not possessed for the girl's soul, but as bait to
For him.
trap him.
So this is like the movie The Right with Michael Caine. Not Michael Caine. Is it Michael Caine?
I don't know. I didn't see
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins. Yes. Now you're right.
And that's supposed to be Malachi Martin in that movie. I remember they even say that in this.
Really? I did not know
forgot
that.
about that.
Yeah. And he becomes possessed, or it ends up consuming him physically to the point where it caused his death. That's what they're trying to say. I don't know how.
Or did he
died.
believe that he was? This is just a thought, not any backing of this at all. Did he feel that he was so possessed that he was like, okay, this went the wrong way south. They got me. I'm going to take myself out.
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe he'd end his own life. But I think, did he willingly go in there knowing that he
That
could
would
be
happen?
possessed or that could happen.
I would think he would do
I
that
think-
every single possession.
I think he would do it every single time too.
Yeah.
And not so much to kind of like entice the devil or taunt the devil, but he
knows
truly
he's strong
believed,
enough to
right. He
to
truly
handle
believed,
it.
and he knew the consequences. He talked about that in several of his interviews, that he had seen younger and stronger priests succumb and be physically beaten, mentally beaten down by the whole process of being.
But the afterlife
exorcism.
from that is beautiful, and they know that.
Yeah.
They know that God will take him in his arms and say, "Thank you for
Absolutely.
trying to save one of my children's."
Absolutely.
So the daughter, I'm guessing, is walking around fine, working as a Walmart greeter.
Probably, or better. I mean, she was 10 years old, 9 or 10
Yeah,
when she was
she's working
younger,
at Walmart. If you want to see her, she's working in the spice rack.
Spice.
This one's really hot. This one's al caliente.
Caliente. Or she's perfectly fine and be like, I don't know what happened.
That's
was
normally how it comes
like
about.
a college girl after Saturday morning. I don't know what happened last night.
That was
wasn't me.
so
I
good. Give me
crazy.
another Bloody Mary.
Oh my God.
Oh, feels
I
like
just
a-
remember going in and saying, I want a tequila shooter. And then the next thing I know, I woke up and I'm in the boys' dorm. What happened?
No, and they were like stirring it in a trash can, but I took a cup.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
So
right.
delicious.
That I don't get. I truly don't get how people could just block out horrible memories. I got horrible memories and I remember them. That's why they're called memories.
Well, you got to give credence to that date rape crap, where people put that drug in the thing
Yeah, but you know what?
and pay attention
I've
to your drink.
blacked out drinking.
Oh,
I
yeah.
admit that. I've blacked out drinking. I kind of remember. I could put bits and pieces together. I mean,
Remember the night before?
yeah, I woke up. Honestly, God, I woke up with a shiner one time, and I'm like, "What the hell did this happen?" And I'm playing it back in my head, and I remembered. Yeah, I pissed some dude off, and he just sucker punched me at the bar. And my friends dragged. They were like, they added to the story. Oh yeah, we had to drag you out, and you were being an asshole. You were so belligerent, and the guy hit me, and the next thing I know, I wake up, I got this nice shiner, and. But I was like, okay, and I just moved on with it. It's granted, rape is a totally different thing. That would definitely be horrible.
Well, that turned a corner.
Speaking of turning a corner, let's turn this corner.
I was so drunk one night I brought home a Shriner.
What?
Yeah.
Shriner.
Yeah, I brought home a Shriner and we just sat around and talked about the days of yore. It was so weird.
Oh my.
No, I'm kidding. You ever been so drunk you brought home a Shriner?
No, that's.
I was like, what the hell's this Shriner doing here? And then they told me the night before.
Yeah, Father Malachi, I truly believe he truly believed everything he did. He did legitly.
Amen.
I'm
I'm with you on that.
I'm not sold that most possessions are legitimate possessions. I think a lot of it is fabricated by the person to either create attention or mental disability of some sort.
Right.
And he even say that, that the first thing they do would send them rule it out by sending them to a psychologist or sociologist. I just don't, I'm not going to say I don't believe in the devil. I think the devil's more of a fabrication of most people's imagination. And then they want to act bad or they want to do something that they feel goes against their beliefs, so they blame it on the devil and they blame, I was possessed at the time.
I'm still of the greatest thing that he ever did with pull off is that he doesn't exist, that whole thing. I think he's there, and I think he's working his ass off trying to, especially now with Trump in office, he's overtiming. But I think...
But you can't have good without the bad. You can't have the light without the dark. So it's a balance.
Yeah.
And that balance exists in all of us. That's why I think a lot of people...
Demon squirrel!
Another demon squirrel.
Another red-tailed squirrel during this conversation.
Oh, yeah. He's out there.
Yeah, that could be the devil.
It could be the devil.
But yeah, so I'm with
do
you.
a couple Hail Marys.
I think he worked really hard on saving people, and I think that he has a beautiful place up there, and I think he was a good person.
I do too. So as far as the video goes,
Check it out.
I think it's worth watching if you like dry documentaries, or if you just want to learn more about him and the untimely
History.
passing. I just I just don't know about the whole possession aspect in individuals. So Father Malachi kind of leads into topic number 4, and this was more. This is more a rebuttal to your show on
With Doug. Yes.
on Pastor and the Pappy.
Get that? Got it?
Got it? Get it? Got it?
Yes, the Pastor and the Pappy.
Pastor and the Pappy. So you guys talked about reincarnation, and kind of when we talked about Father Malachi, it kind of sparked me a little bit.
I understand.
That was the whole conversation that Father Malachi and I got into. It was our deepest conversations.
Oh,
was
cool.
talking
Okay.
about reincarnation. And I just wanted to rebut a little bit because you guys mentioned it. And it's been a little while since I listened to the show, but
Well, the whole show was about it. And I am not one that believes in reincarnation, but I threw it out there to see what Doug thought about it, and I thought it'd be a good topic to discuss. Plus, it was my turn to come up with
yeah,
the
you
topic.
sucker punched him with that. You
Yeah, I
could hear in
did.
his voice, but he was a good sport about it.
Very, very good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he went along. Now, he definitely took the traditional Christian view that, your body is one and done, and he used biblical verse to back that up,
Right.
which I totally get. I just wanted to throw out there a couple of things, just food for thought, and not so much for Doug, but for people in general, that historically, Christ and his followers believed in reincarnation because it was a known topic of their time. And I found biblically that there's a couple of verses in the New Testament where it comes into play. And a lot of people who are Catholic or Christian who believe in reincarnation use these verses to support their argument. And
Okay.
one of them has to do with and Doug, forgive me, and everybody else, I don't remember the actual verses, but you'll know where they are. There's a story of the disciples bringing a blind man before Jesus, and they say, Jesus, why is this man blind? He was blind from birth. So is it his sins or his parents' sins? Why is he blind? Why would God inflict him with blindness? And in Jesus, instead of saying, hey, listen, you guys are talking about reincarnation, if you're saying that this was his man's sins before birth, he
Right.
doesn't do that. Instead, he just goes, well, no, it's neither of those things. It's because he's just, has been blinded by the devil, and he puts mud in, spits in the ground, which is a sign of contempt for man and our sinful ways, and then he rubs the mud into his eyes to give him vision. But that's one of the verses that believers of reincarnation and biblical proof of it go to, that they were like, hey, look, we believe that he committed sins in his prior life. That's why he's blind, and that's why he's inflicted. So basically you're saying this person was born with these ailments. Are they being punished for something they did in a previous life? That's what you're implying, because there's no other reason to punish somebody when they haven't been born to do anything bad yet.
What about their siblings or parents if they're punishing them?
Think of it this way. Your brother commits horrible crimes, and then you're born. Why would you be born cripple as punishment for what he did? That doesn't sound fair to you.
Because that way he has to take care of me, and just like baby Jane.
If he's committing crimes, or if his criminal element,
you are in that chair, Blanche.
I don't think he's giving to.
No, I don't either. I don't know. I was throwing that out there.
Yeah, no. And it's a fair argument, because people say that
Your family's cursed.
It's the sins of the family. It's the
Right.
sins of the parents. Parents don't care. They're just looking at it like, oh, great, now I got this invalid child I got to deal with. And some people, granted, are very loving and say, hey, look, this is my offspring. But if they're that horrible people that they've committed sins that are so egregious to God that he's going to smite their child with the lack ability to walk or see or whatever, To me, that
It's doubtful.
it's very doubtful.
Very
I don't-
doubtful.
and that
I shouldn't
doesn't
have
sound.
said it. I'm sorry.
No. But
No, I feel bad for that. I got
don't-
Catholic guilt.
Well, you see, and that's the thing that I think a lot of Christians feel that God would punish a child for the parent's sins, and that's not the way it works.
Right.
Yeah, and that's where it's wrong. And why would God be so spiteful? Your mom was mad and she didn't go to church, so you don't get to walk tomorrow. I don't buy that.
Yeah.
I don't buy that at all. I get like later in life, if you've done bad things or if you've been living a very crappy life in general,
What about the devil?
that bad things happening. Well, that's a different avenue, and I never actually gave that any thought. So, but the thought of reincarnation, that's
Gotcha.
what we're talking about.
I'm sorry,
here.
I
So,
jumped in.
no, and that's a
I
good,
failed you.
it's a good question that I never thought of.
Oh, okay.
But we're just talking about reincarnation. And the other thing, another biblical verse to back it up,
Yes.
is Herod believes that John the Baptist was actually Elijah, who was a prophet from hundreds of years earlier, had come back. So Christians who are opposed to it just say, no, they're saying that he acted like Elijah, or he was embodying the thoughts of Elijah.
Right.
Where opponents of, or people who believe in reincarnation say, no, what he's actually saying, because it was a known belief of the time, was that they really believed that Elijah came back in that body of John the Baptist. And I'm kind of for it myself. I'm a believer of it. I believe it's a possibility. And another thing that I think, back in those days, and you always hear this to this day, your body's a vessel for your soul.
Yes.
Well, a bottle of wine is a vessel for the wine. If you pour it into a glass, it's still wine. It's just now in a new vessel, a new carrying container. So your soul doesn't change if it changes bodies. So if you die tomorrow, and I'm not wishing that on you,
Don't say that.
but you come back in 25 years in another country as another person, it's still your soul. Your soul made that decision to travel back and take on a new life. And it's just now in a new vessel. So the body is nothing more than the difference from a vase to a bottle of wine to the magnum of wine. The wine is still wine no matter what you put it in.
Right.
Just like the soul. The soul's still you. That's your true identity, your ego. That just goes to a different body. And so I think it's very possible. And Father Malachi and I talked about this, that he believed that one of the problems was when mankind was first made, that there was always going to be so many returning souls. So these older souls could help adjust the new souls. New souls come into existence. They're crazy. They're out of control because now the soul just wants to run wild because you're in a body. I could do everything, feel, touch, pain, love, everything, go nuts. Where the older souls already experienced that. And this is where that thinking, that Western philosophy or Eastern philosophy of nirvana, that you relive lives to come back and achieve nirvana, and that way you don't have to ever come back, is that each time you're learning a little bit more about life and how to deal with life and to achieve the best life while here. So that's something that I just wanted to clarify because you guys mentioned the Western philosophy of karma, and you mentioned about animals, transforming animals.
I always wanted to spend a day in my dog's body and see what that was like. Just for
I don't blame you. I think it would be cool to maybe shapeshift into an animal and be the animal and do those activities. That would be for a day or something. But the thing about reincarnation into animals was that a lot of Eastern, or I should say, Eastern philosophies that was reserved for a punishment because those are lower life forms than human beings. So,
but they're so cute.
Yeah, so you actually lose ability.
Puppy doggy wolf.
So you lose your humanity. So that's a punishment by being turned into lower life forms like that. But coming back as another human being was considered, you didn't learn all of life's lessons, and you're giving a second chance to do that. And you're doing it, your soul is aware, Your spirit is aware of what you've achieved and what you've done, but the body isn't. The body, it's almost like driving a car. You take your hands off the steering wheel while it's still going. It's going to kind of bend, depending on what kind of tires you have or the alignment, the car's going to weave or move the way it wants to go.
Right.
You put it in gear, the transmission kicks in, it's going to move on its own. You don't need to step on the gas or the brake. It'll do that. So you as the driver control where the car's going to go. The difference is that I think where free will comes into play is you're in the driver's seat and you're saying, do this. You're not in the driver's seat, excuse me. You're kind of like in the passenger seat saying,
Right, I got you.
You need to turn left. If you turn right, you're going down a road of pain and sorrow and heartbreak. But turn left, things are going to work out. The guy in the car is going, I don't know. The side to the left, it's kind of hard. But the side to the right looks easy. I'm going to go the easy route. So now your soul's kind of along for the ride, and you're trying to get that adjust that. I know that's a bad analogy, but
I understand.
You're not the soul's not completely in charge because of free will. So you have, God puts that out there and says, look, I'm giving you choices. You've got to decide to make the right choice. And all religions believe that you are given by the divine creator a choice in either making good decisions or bad decisions.
Very true.
And it's very easy to sit on our duffs and eat, Hostess cupcakes all day and watch Netflix. Mm-hmm. Sounds great. It's a lot harder to get out, go down to the gym, and stand on the treadmill and work out for 20 minutes. That's sweaty. I'm tired. My muscles hurt. But it's better for you.
Just as hard to go down to the gym and eat Twinkies staring at somebody else while they're working out.
Yep.
Drinking Gatorade in front of them.
That's right. I brought my Gatorade, as a matter of fact.
I'm mad thirsty.
Mad thirsty.
I think the main reason I brought up reincarnation to Doug, it was just I had to come up with the topic, and earlier I saw this YouTube video on a guy who thought he was somebody else at one time, and I was like, it's such a and mostly because when I was growing up, I always wanted to spend just even 10 minutes in my dog's body because I love my puppies. And just to see what it's like to be that cute and fluffy, and what do they think of it? Do they get a ego because, well, you're so pretty? Yeah, I am. And what it's like to eat the crap treats all the time, but they love it. I don't think they care what they eat. I don't know. I'm just always curious.
No, and I think that what happens in the afterlife is much more grandiose and much more glorious than what we've been taught as Christians of just being hellfire and punishment and clouds of billowing white and love. I had a near-death experience. We've talked about this in the past. I think that woke my mind up to a much larger vision of heaven or afterlife than what we've been taught and what we all kind of believe. And I think there's plenty of books, plenty of places you guys can do some research on your own just to get some more information. I'm not trying to convert anybody.
No, we're just yapping about it.
Just yapping. And so I think it's a great possibility that people can be reborn and have multiple lives.
I was once Tiny Tim.
You couldn't have been Tiny Tim because Tiny Tim was alive when you were alive.
Yeah.
So maybe you were influenced by Tiny Tim.
I was.
You better not be tiptoeing through my tulips, young man. You get the hell out of my yard. Well, this is the end of the show.
Thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome. And I'm sorry we took so long to do it, and hopefully we'll have better topics in the future.
No, this is cool. We got 4 in 1, so there you go. You got 4 for your $1.
4 for your $1. So, everyone.
25 cents back on $1 there, friend.
There you go. That and a $2.50 will get you a cup of coffee at Dunkin' Donuts.
That's what I'm saying. Change on $3.
There you go. Hey, the show's free. That doesn't cost them anything.
That's true.
So I hope you enjoyed your free show.
That's right. And if you really like the show, let us know. Send us an email at instrumentally@gmail.com, or you can even hit contact at zerbinator.wordpress.com right up there in the menu.
There you go. Please do. Give us topics if you want us to research something, talk about something. We'd love to do it.
We're going to try to do a show upcoming on the Titanic and talk about the Olympus and the Titanic and see what we think.
Yep.
I would like to do another ghost show because a friend of mine, Jeff DeMarco, his mom, would love to be on the show.
Okay.
So I figured we would dial her in and listen to her story and tell her whether she's telling the truth or not.
Absolutely.
Which might ruin my friendship with my friend Jeff DeMarco. Your mom's a liar!
She's a
No,
liar.
I'm kidding.
She can't handle the truth.
No, I want her to tell us the story because she does have some pretty cool stories.
Yep. Yeah. That's the one thing about this show is we're going to have reoccurring topics. You know, there's only
reoccurring bad dreams.
I mean, hey, the Loch Ness Monster, UFOs, Bigfoot, and ghosts. That's pretty much
you get cryptozoology.
zoology. Well, that's two of the monsters right there we just talked about.
And alien life forms.
Alien life forms.
That's it in this type of realm.
Yeah, there's not much more to it. So, but we're still trying to work on getting an interview from somebody. I've been emailing the crap out of them.
Really?
And I'm still, we're going to keep that quiet, but I'm working an angle, trying to do something there.
Gosh, that would be great.
Yeah, at least maybe get more ghost stories in because
Wayne
people
Newton
like
is such
that.
a dick, isn't he?
Hi. I want to let you know that I'm glad that you gave me a call. And I'd love to be on your show.
Excellent. I love it. Great. This is going to be outstanding. Smashing. So, folks, to close out the show, like I always like to say, may you always remain open-minded as you search for the answers to life's mysteries.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wilbur.
All of Zerbinator's music and podcasts are under the Creative Commons license, which allows retelling and rebroadcasting as long as the author is notified and credited. For more great escape pods, please visit www.zerbinator.wordpress.com. If you would like to contact Zerbinatorland, you can send an email to instrumentally@gmail.com or give us a call at 571-408-ZERB or 9372.
Okay.
Well, 12:05.
Okay.
That means yes, and Phil talks.
Phil.
Good boy, Phil. And then you throw him a salmon, and he claps his hands, and he goes running back to the lake.
Belly flopping in.
I gotta stop breathing out and breathe in more.
And then on a starry night, he might come back.
He's Philip. He's Philip.
So, all right.